In my initial video we did a quick look into the Analogue Pocket and to playing some original games. Think about Game Boy Classic, Color, Advance and even some Game Gear. This device is absolutely nuts and the quality of it is absolutely great. But there were some things that you need to take consideration. So first of all, one of the things I hate about this company is that they're not like overpricing it, absolutely not, because the quality itself is absolutely great. The only thing I found quite annoying that you cannot buy them as you want them. As let's say you're saving some money or you just make a pre-order and you can get yourself a certain color. But what is FPGA? It sounds like magic. It is also a little bit of magic. But Modern Vintage Gamer didn't completely like a very nice overall explanation what it actually is. But in short, it's emulation of the original hardware. And what do I mean with original hardware? That is quite simple. So when it comes to Game Boy Classic, there is basically a way how this actually works. And the chips and everything in the inside of this machine will be emulated by the machine, resulting having perfect one-on-one emulation. And the experience you're getting with this, let's say, device is absolutely nothing compared with an original Game Boy. The original Game Boy screen is not that great, and on the Analogue Pocket it would look so much better. But of course we're having different kind of upgrades. So if you still want to have an original experience and want to have the real deal, there are like upgraders out there making these devices with an, let's say, a backlit like this particular version that looks absolutely amazing, and in combination with an LCD display. But again, there are more and more options out there, and even more affordable ones. So one of the ways you can also play, and this is basically between, let's say, two different worlds. So another way to play is of course emulation. Now we can buy a $50–$60-ish like device that emulates basically the old school games like the Analogue Pocket, only this is not FPGA quality. This is just, in my opinion, good enough. To be honest, I don't really notice it when you're having all kinds of cool tweaks you can do to these devices. Of course, also with these devices you can just say, hey, we want to have better quality because this is just a cheap device, so we can switch it out with different brands like Powkiddy and Anbernic, of course. Having, for example, a beefcake Game Boy that has even more features than Analogue Pocket. But still, this is purely emulation, and this is basically the best of three worlds in my opinion. You have the original Game Boy Classic where you can play and modify, and you can buy and spend over like hundreds of freaking dollars getting a modified Game Boy, buying a completely cool Analogue Pocket, and then of course we're having the beefcake devices from China that emulates. It's not 100% accurate like some people will say, but you can actually play a lot of different games. Okay, so enough about the options, and I will leave some links of Modern Vintage Game that explains how this thing actually works. There is a particular upgrade that I did to this device, thanks to Ross from Retroid Game Corps, that makes this thing absolutely an FPGA monster and emulation beast. Let's talk about the Genesis, one of my favorite systems to play. We can change out the core if you want to, but we're just going to press run. And from this point you can add your games that you have and just start it from here. It will load up almost instantly, depending on the file size, but it runs pretty damn great. But take consideration, when you're going to actually play on this, you will have such a different experience. The audio of the thing, everything is just perfect. And whoa bang, it goes really loud when it's going to be setting to maximum. Do of the absolutely amazing display of the aspect ratio, everything is just how it should be played. You have some small bars at the bottom and the top. Oh, and for the people who didn't know, starting the game, here we can find an extra one up. Next up, let's take a close look at the further game. And I can tell you, just playing this, it feels like playing the original system. So next up, let's take a close look at some MAME emulation. And I'm just going to be honest, I don't really notice when it comes to certain emulators. But you can just actually play so many cool games now, and this makes this absolutely a very great system where we had like limitation to certain devices. Now we can actually play all kinds of cool emulation. Pressing the button in the middle, here we have the option to go to the memories, but there is no quick save, quick load moment. Here we can change out all kinds of, let's say, different things. For example, bonus life. You can just change out the difficulty. You can mess around with it. I think it's pretty damn cool. And quit, you will go back to the menu itself. But it will automatically go to this particular menu where we just using the open FPGA. And here we can go into the handhelds. Or if you want to go to the consoles, you can choose. There are different categories. So I just choose all in the beginning. So I have all kinds of stuff on here. Let's move on into something that's pretty damn cool, and that is the PC Engine. Oh crap, low battery. So we need to charge it. But it's just a great way to showcase how the freaking D-pad works, and it works perfect. Absolutely one of the best D-pads I've ever seen. So next up, let's try some more consoles like the Super NES. And just playing this, it feels so natural with the high quality controls and the FPGA emulation. This is actually noticing that this is absolutely great overall, let's say, experience with all the sound effects, no weird things going on with this. And that is one of the things I love about FPGA technology. Alright, so let's chart this bad boy. But also, okay, so we have this handheld FPGA technology that's absolutely perfect when it comes to emulation. How can we make it more perfect? And it is actually using a docking station. Think about it, if you're having the docking station, you're going to plug in this bad boy and you have all of the games with FPGA technology in your hand, but also you can plug it into your television and having actually a game console that can use this FPGA technology. And I want to say cheap because, yeah, if you're going to buy everything, it's still going to be quite a lot of money. But still, when you're looking at, let's say, the overall quality, just the quality of the docking station, yeah, that's great. Another thing I found absolutely amazing is the way how you can also connect it and use like separate controllers. But of course, when it comes to these devices, also the dock needs to be upgraded. I completely forgot to doing this, but again, if you're going to be upgrading this thing, oh boy, it's going to be absolutely a blast to the past with FPGA power. Having two USB ports gives us two options to actually use this thing with a controller, also have Bluetooth capabilities. Plug in the power over here, there's also charge the device, and of course the HDMI that we're needing for plugging into the television. Yes, mamma mia. But in the end, when you're looking at, let's say, this FPGA handheld, it's so cool because you can actually just play the old school MAME games, 16-bit games with FPGA technology. It's absolutely great and experience. And of course with FPGA we have perfect emulation if you're really caring about something like this. And everything is just high quality in combination with the HDMI signal out. It's absolutely great. Next up, let's try 8-bit, and of course 8-bit can be played on so many devices nowadays. So this is something not really special in my opinion, but still I do have the feeling that it runs pretty damn great on this. In my main review we did talk about, let's say, the different kind of like upgrades and stuff you can get. I already mentioned you can play original, Game Boy Classic, Color and advanced games in this thing. And if you're going to get yourself a very expensive adapter, you can even go all the way to different systems like Sega Game Gear or Neo Geo Pocket. It's absolutely nuts in my opinion. Ross from Retro Game Corps made a video about an upgrade with an SD card, because it is one of the things you can actually do with this. You can upgrade your firmware and have the option to play the game through an SD card. It's nutty, but it's kind of cool because it gives you so many new options and makes FPGA emulation way more affordable and a lot of fun. The first thing I just quickly want to point out, when it comes to the Analogue Pocket, for me I was absolutely flabbergasted about everything. The weight of the device, the way how it feels, everything is absolutely premium quality. This is one of those cases where you're paying a premium price, but you're just going to get yourself a premium product. Including the D-pad, that I'm a big D-pad fan from. I just love this thing, and where it feels kind of weird in my opinion and also sounds kind of bad, this is absolutely great. One of the best D-pads I've ever had. But let's power it on the device and everything about it. I did a full review, but I just want to mainly focus with this new open FPGA and what can we actually play with it. Because with an SD card, oh boy, it unleashes the full potential of this thing. So with the new firmware we can still play our cartridges if you want to. But with the open FPGA, what you can do actually is getting into different kind of systems. Here we're having all, and here we're having all of different systems you can actually play. And that is just nuts. There's a huge tutorial there and you can even add more systems. Yep, you can even have Galaga, you have homebrew games, Contra, Game Boy Classic of course that we can already play with through the cartridges. But now we can even play Genesis or Mega Drive, Master System, Neo Geo, NES. We're having some cool games like Outrun, PC Engine CD. It's absolutely nuts. I didn't even implement every single, let's say, upgrade. I just wanted to showcase a couple of them because this is pretty damn awesome. So let's get into this.